Hello and welcome to Believe TV and Happy New Year. My name is Bruce Sampson and I am your host as usual. Thank you so much for joining, whether you're watching live or on replay. I am always grateful to have those of you in attendance who are willing to watch and listen to whatever I've got to say or whomever I have to present to you. Today it's just me. Wishing you all a very, very happy new year. Hopefully, you all brought it in well and good. I can tell you right now that I brought it in as I usually do, sleeping. For the last several years, especially, I have slept through New Year's, fallen asleep well in advance of the ball dropping and the countdown. Um, but it's all good, you know. Still woke up that January 1st, 2021, and happy to be here and happy to have all of you along as well. We already have a few folks joining in with us. Thank you so much. Hey, Miss Patricia. Hello, wishing you a blessed and prosperous 2021. The same right back at you. Thank you for everything. And also, my dear friend who's a regular of watching our show. I don't think she's ever missed one that I know of. Miss Karen over in Germany, in Hamburg, Germany. Happy New Year. Big hug to you and yours as well. Thank you so much. And stay tuned for a moment because I got something special for you in just a second, Miss Karen. Uh, yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Happy New Year. I hope it's been a good one for you so far. I know it's still been a challenge, like I talked about last week. Even though the calendar ticked over to a new year, it's really just the next day, and so for a lot of us, we're still going through some rough times, and maybe going through some rough times for a while. But today's show is about hope and dreams and vision and uh, how we get to where we want to be. And so, uh, as usual, I invite your feedback, your questions, your thoughts. Uh, very happy to have you, Ms. Renita. Welcome. So good to see you as well. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys. So, if you've never tuned into this program before, we are all about believe and about unity and about um, hopeful and inspirational and all of those types of things about how do we move forward. We all go through stuff. We all experience any number of things in our lives, and it's all about how do we push forward through that, and how do we find ways to come together. And our theme, just as it is with Believe Performing Arts Experience, it's embrace the possible. Okay, it's that thought of what is possible. You know, I forget exactly who originally said it, but Kennedy is credited as saying something to the effect of ask, don't worry about, it's about what you can contribute, not, not about where we are, but where are we going and what can you do to contribute to that. So, again, thank you guys so much. Woo! See quite a few people popping in. Thank you guys. So, um, I'm just going to give a full disclosure on a couple of things. Uh, First is, which I'm always pretty transparent on here anyway. Um, so the first thing is, when I decided to do the show and when I named it and was planning for it, it came on the heels of a number of things that are happening in my life right now. So there's lots of stuff going on, and it's so funny how God works, because there were moments not too long ago where I was complaining about not having enough to do and trying to find things to do and what have you. And now, um, yeah, that's not an issue right now. I've got a lot of stuff on my plate, but it's all good, and it's all blessings, and it's all wonderful, and um, it makes just makes me that much more grateful for everything, for those periods where I didn't have anything. I'm grateful for that, because it gave me time, and this year especially gave me time for self-reflection. And over the last few days, I've had a chance to reflect even more through conversations that I've had with different friends and family members, different experiences I've gone through on New Year's Eve. I'm not going to say the specific thing that went down, but it definitely put me in a place of really thinking about, where I am in this world right now, the things that I'm grateful for, and the people that I'm grateful for, and the prospect of losing them. I've had some friends who have lost people, some dear friends out in Florida that I want to send my love to, and who I know just lost someone last night or early this morning. And I want to send you my love and prayers, and uh, prayers for comfort and for peace, and to get through this difficult time. It's always difficult losing someone, especially when it's fresh, when it's just happened. It's extremely difficult. But I will also tell you that um, there are members of my family, including my parents, that it feels like it was just yesterday. Like it's been years. It's been 16 years, actually, almost 16 years since I lost my mom, and about 20 or so years since I lost my dad, or more. And some of that's still pretty fresh. Like it still feels like like it just happened, like I just got punched in the gut from it. Uh, and so as we move into a new year, a lot of us are battling with things like that, of having lost others, um, new directions, maybe even lost jobs, income, what have you. We're struggling with things, but at the end of the day, we have to move on, just like the people before us moved on and led the way for us. And so today's program is designed for us to talk about hope. So, a couple of things. First of all, um, I woke up this morning. I'm still not attending church in person yet, um, which I hope to do at some point soon. But so far, I just haven't felt completely comfortable in doing that yet personally. That's just me. Um, but I always stream church services, usually mine, but then sometimes I'll also stream other church services. I have some dear friends who are pastors, and sometimes I tune into theirs. Usually I do that Wednesday evenings because they usually have, Bible study. And so I'll tune in to see what some of them are doing on Wednesdays. But sometimes on Sundays I'll do that as well. This morning, bright and early for the 8 a.m. service, I streamed my service, and I was shocked and surprised that the topic of discussion today from the pastor was about dreams and hope and vision for the future. And I thought, whoa, that's just freaky. Like, that's just weird that was the topic of my show. And then that's what he's talking about today. Because I always look to my church services as my source of inspiration, right? And sometimes I'm very, very fortunate that something that's said will really spark something in me to then want to share with you. Like it invigorates me and inspires me, and I just want to share that. And so today was very much that. It was like as the pastor said what he was going to be talking about. I looked right at the TV screen and I'm like, stop it! You've got to be kidding me. That was the topic, and that's what he talked about. And what I took away, I'm not going to talk about everything he talked about, but what I will say is the thing that I took away from it that was probably the most impactful of all the things he said was, he said, a lot of us, what we tend to do is when we're going through a rough time, we may have dreams and aspirations and different visions for things in the future that we want to accomplish, and things that we want to attain, whatever. And we will often wait uh, until we get through that bad time to try to focus on that and think about that. And he suggested that no, you should actually start thinking about it now. like as you're going through, because that will sometimes help you get through that difficult time when you're able to focus on a dream, an aspiration, if you're able to use that to get you through. And it's kind of interesting because that's kind of what's been happening to me, and which kind of got me busier, where there are a number of different ways in which I wanted to um, contribute to my community, to the world, and any number of things like that. Um, and I just had dreams of things that I wanted to do and that I wanted to accomplish, and just kind of waiting for things to get better before I did anything. And then said, no, let's just go ahead and move forward now, so that when the opportunity comes, I'm ready. I'm already there. It's not like I'm starting from scratch. I'm already there. Let's start working on it now. And so, and I'll be talking about some of this stuff with you guys in coming weeks. But one of the things, I said, I want to have it done by the end of 2020. And I accomplished it, like to the day almost, like it was like barely under the wire, accomplished something that I really wanted to accomplish, at least phase one of it. And so you'll be hearing about that in coming weeks and all of that good stuff. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to share that, what I got from church today and what I took from that, and how that was inspirational to me. And I really wanted to share that. And also, this past week or so, I've also just been so frustrated. Again, I went through a period where I stopped watching as much news as I was, but as I had been previously. But I'm just kind of a news junkie, a journalism major, and so I have to read and watch the news, and I'm always curious about what's happening. And so, so in the process of doing that, and then also just going through social media and seeing posts from people, just some of the negativity from folks, and just a lot of stuff that gave me pause, and actually gave me moments where I wanted to cancel doing the show today. And then I thought, no, you got to push through. You're always telling everybody else to push through. You got to push through and embrace the possible. We may not be there yet, but we'll get to the promised land, right? We're going to get there. And so just keep pushing through. And, some of they may sound cliche, but I hold them as truths, and things that things that I hold on to, the idea of, being the change you want to see in the world. Be the change, don't just wait for the change to happen, be the change. And so that's what I try to strive to do. Miss Pat says yes, and in time. Yeah. And I was telling another friend a couple of days ago how I think, it was yesterday, had a young friend that I used to direct in the Young Americans, also taught her in college. And she reached out. We've been in communication, Facebook friends and all of that. But then she said, I just want to give you a call and just talk to you on the phone, just hear your voice and stuff. And so we did. We just talked for a few minutes, like maybe 10, 15 minutes, maybe. We just kind of caught up, with each other and everything. And it was just beautiful. And we both shared with each other this idea of that to each other we were inspirational, because she's another person who occasionally will post things that I will look at and go, now that gave me, what I needed to keep me going, because basically the point is that even those of us who try to feed and send love and uplift others, we need to get fed too. Just like our pastors and stuff, they come in and they try to feed us the word, but at some point they got to get fed too. It can't always be going out. You've got to get some stuff coming back in too. So happy New Year to you guys. Happy New Year are you guys in the bottom of the world? Is that what it is in Australia? My friend Philip. And Philip, I have to ask you too. So I know you were doing that push-up challenge, but I still see you still doing it. I'm like, you had to have completed however many days or weeks or whatever that was that you were doing that push-up challenge. But it looks like you're still doing it. So, in fact, I'll also be honest and tell you, because I'm so out of shape, and because it's something I struggle with, of getting back into exercise and stuff, and it's something I'm trying to work on. Like as soon as I pass your thing in the feed where you're doing that, I just go on and just move right past you. I'm like, I'm not watching this. So I love you, Philip. You know I do, but I just can't watch it because it's shaming me, first of all, and it tires me out. You know what I'm saying? Like it really tires me out. So yeah, the fact that you're still doing it, I'm like, okay, I can see pushing myself through to try to do the challenge, but then to keep going, like, man, okay, now you're just showing off. So, but I love you, man. Thank you for setting an example, and maybe soon that's going to spur me to make me say, okay, shoot, I'm gonna be the change. I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna do it myself. Um, I'm not gonna do what you're doing, but I'll do something in the measure that I can handle it. Miss Tracy, happy and blessed New Year to you as well. Um, my my cousin Eric sounds like a goal. Cause yeah, it is, it is. But I also know me, and I know that I had to do things in baby steps. I'm not one of these people in most situations that can say I have this goal, and so I'm just going to jump all the way in. Like, nope, because it won't last. I know me well enough to know that it will not last if I just try to jump all the way in, because I'll get burnout and I'll be done. So Miss Karen says, greeting from Germany to down under. Yeah. I come from the land down under. Oh man, I love Men at Work. Okay, so I am going to do something. This is for Miss Karen, my dear friend from Hamburg, Germany. Um, I I think it was yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday that I got it. So yesterday I got a package. Miss Karen had hinted that she was going to send me some package or something. I thought it was going to be a card or something, but I got this box in the mail, and I was going to open it, and I thought, no, you know what? I'm doing my show, and I'm pretty sure Miss Karen's going to be watching. So my plan is, Miss Karen, my plan is to open this box now. I have it right here. My hand is on it. Okay. So I was going to open it right here live in front of everybody, but I need you to tell me if it's safe to do that. Like, is there anything in here weird that's like not appropriate or anything like that? I mean, I can't imagine that there would be, but I just figured before I open it in front of everybody, is it okay if I open this? Like, is that something I can do in front of everybody? Happy New Year's to Ms. Sylvia. Dear friend, former co-worker when we used to work at WIKC together. And Miss Karen says it's okay. Okay, I just want to make sure. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is the box, and I'm not going to show it to you too long because I don't want to give away her address or mine, our personal information. But this nice, big, beautiful box from Hamburg, Germany, Deutschland. I love that. So I'm going to try to open this. Now, watch. I'm probably going to have a difficulty trying to get it open, but I'm going to try to cut this open right now to the best of my ability. Let me get this label off first. So it's kind of like Christmas, you guys. This is me opening a present from a friend, or a gift. I shouldn't say present, but a gift from a friend. And see, that just goes to show you my my composure and my discipline. That I actually do have some discipline in that I waited so that I could do it and so you could see me open it. Okay, so I'm trying. Sorry, my scissors aren't as sharp as I would like them to be, but we're getting there. So just hold on, folks. Just hold on. I'm getting there, I swear. Okay, You're getting there. Okay, one last little cut with the scissors, and oh wait, one more. You see that side? Okay, so you all get to share in this with me. So here's my little box here, and oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so there's that. There's a card. It says, "Hi, Bruce. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Wolfgang." Oh, that's so sweet. Karen and Matthew. Oh, that's so sweet. The family. Yay, yay, yay. So I'm opening things up, and we're going to see what we have here. Okay, so see this. I'm going to show it to you better in just a second. I want to get it all out. Oh my gosh. There's, okay, so here's what's really funny about this gift. It is beautiful, and I thank you so much for it. But the timing of me opening it right after talking about getting in shape, the whole thing is filled with candies and treats, German chocolates, and and all kinds of. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce Lebkuchen Riegel. I'm sure I butchered that, but that's some of that. There's more little chocolates in here. They're little Santa Claus chocolates and stuff at the bottom there, and then there are these. Then there's a baggie full of, and Karen knows that I love these. So it's like gummies and other chewable candies and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys can really see that or not, but there's all those candies and stuff in there. Thank you so much, Miss Karen. And then there's a box. Oh, is this cake? Is that what this is? I mean, Baumkuchen. Okay, so you have to tell me what Baumkuchen is, but it looks like cake because the picture on it looks like a piece of cake with chocolate on the outside. So this is legit German chocolate. Yay! Thank you so much, Miss Karen. So you got to see me open it and share with the world a beautiful Christmas and New Year's present from Germany. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. You are the sweetest. So yeah, she said it is cake. Okay, so that's what the picture looked like. It looked like cake. So thank you so much. Miss Karen, Miss Renita says her address is. See, I probably shouldn't have opened it in front of everybody. Now everybody wants this delicious German chocolate and candies and cake and treats and stuff that you sent. Thank you so, so much. I really, really appreciate that. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Please give hugs and love to the family, to Mr. Wolfgang and Matthew, and to everybody. And yeah, oh, how you will enjoy those treats. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. But I think it's just so funny that I just got done talking about working out and getting in shape. And then what does Miss Karen send me? A bunch of sweets and candy and stuff to make it even more difficult. So see, I have no choice. I have to put that off. I have to put off the working out and stuff because I have to enjoy these treats. She went to all that trouble to send them to me. So that's my rationalization for not working out yet, Eric. Thank you so much. That is so sweet. That it is so. See, be careful. Be careful what you ask for. Miss Karen says, "Send it to me. Send me the address." See, she will do it. You will. You just don't know what a sweet person she is. She will definitely do it. Like that's the kind of stuff that she would bring us that, and she'd bring us sodas and different drinks and stuff. When we were out touring, when I was directing Young Americans, whenever I was in Germany, she would sometimes drive a couple of hours to come meet us, and come see the show. If we were, within a couple of hours drive of wherever she lived, of Hamburg, then she would try to make it out to us and then bring us treats like that, and it was just the sweetest thing. So thank you so much. Literally the sweetest thing. So thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate that. So hope. So when I titled for, the title for this episode, uh, I made sure to include work as part of it, because whenever I talk about embracing the possible, I truly believe that virtually anything is possible if you believe and if you're willing to do the work. Okay, you have to be willing to do the work. Miss Renee, Miss Marita says she will do, and thanks in advance. That's so cool. And one of the coolest things too to me is when my worlds collide, when friends and family, from different areas that don't know each other, that aren't necessarily connected, um, are connected. When I did the Unity project, the virtual project last year, it feels weird saying last year because last year was only a few days ago. Um, but when I did that, it was my worlds colliding. Like I had people that I knew because of Young Americans. I had people that I knew from Bogalusa. I had family members that were involved. I had folks from when I worked at Yahoo, uh, people I knew from church. Uh, just all these different people colliding together that didn't even know each other, never met each other. And one of the coolest things that came out of that, to me anyway, was the fact that a number of them connected as a part of that whole Unity thing. Like they were like, "Hey, you seem like a really nice person. I'd like to keep in touch with you," and they do, and they interact with each other now, and that's a beautiful thing, and it's proof positive. It's proof of concept that the idea for Unity works. So I'm always going to be an advocate for that, and that is my thing moving forward. In fact, the young lady that I was speaking to yesterday that I told you about, she I don't think she would mind if I said her name. Bailey is her name. So Bailey reached out to me, um, and she is in Ohio, or she Illinois. I think it's Ohio. Um, so she reached out, and just catching up and stuff. And so she said, so what have you been up to, and this and that. And I said, well, I've used this time as an opportunity to self-reflect. And she said, really? Yeah, me too. And she said, so what was the outcome of that for you? I said, well, it's always going to be a continued, I'm going to always be a continued work in progress. So I'm always working on me, always trying to better and catch myself, and, do what I believe I'm supposed to do. But ultimately, it was me reaffirming in myself that I wanted to, with whatever time I have left, who knows how much time I have left, but with whatever time I have left on this planet, on this earth, I want to make as much of a positive difference as I can to uplift and encourage and to inspire folks in any way possible, in any number of ways. And obviously, the Believe Performing Arts experience is part of that. So those camps that we do, those workshops and camps that we do, are a part of that, or extension of that idea and that concept. But so much more. And so I'm involved in a number of different things, including like tomorrow, I'm going to get to do kind of a cool thing that I'm excited about. Um, that's and an ongoing thing that I'm doing with a program here in my hometown called Adapt. And I was brought in, as a consultant to work on some different projects, and I'm really excited that I get that opportunity to do that, to contribute to the positive work that Adapt is doing in the community, and especially when I have an opportunity to speak to and work with young people. Because as I mentioned before and all the time, um, I've been extremely blessed with so many different opportunities to go places, to meet people, to have experiences that, in my opinion, would be a waste if it was just for me. If those things were just for Bruce, what a waste. I think that they were intended for me to share, as I think is the case for all of us in most of the things that we do, especially those positive, unique experiences and opportunities. Like, those are meant to be shared. And so, especially given the fact, especially with young people, because hopefully they have a lifetime in front of them. And in my case, not so much so, probably, right? But who knows? But hopefully, I can take something that I've learned and shared and learned and experienced and share with them, and then they can go out and to the world and benefit from that, and hopefully learn from my mistakes as well. It's something I think that all of us who are parents wish for our children. That they don't have to learn from or that they can learn from our mistakes. They don't have to um, experience the same, downfall of committing the same mistakes that we do. Um, there are some that they kind of have to, just as a rite of passage is growing up. They have to see for themselves. But overall, I think that's something that we all as parents, and I know teachers, we want to impart knowledge so that you're better armed and better equipped to face the world, and to make a positive difference in the world for not just for your family, but also for the community. Uh, Miss Miss Patricia said that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. And at least that's what I believe, uh, Miss Pat, like, yeah, that's what I believe. And so, and it's how I was raised and how, what I was taught. And, sometimes in fact, this reminds me of something, Miss Pat. You can tell me what you think about this, or any of you who want to contribute to this. But I was talking with someone a couple of days ago, and the Bible verse came up, the idea of, you know, teach your children. I'm going to get the words wrong, but the spirit of it is teach your children the way to go. Teach them the right things, and they will not depart from it. And I think I actually kind of disagree with that, um, because I think oftentimes they will go away from it. Sometimes they will go away. They're going to challenge and try new things, and say, "Oh, my parents don't know what they're talking about." They go through phases and stuff where they pull away from what you've taught them. But I do believe, however, that and maybe this is what's really intended. Uh, Maybe what the true translation really means this, which is what I believe, that if you truly train them in the way that's supposed to go and demonstrate, because I think that's the other key, is to demonstrate what you're training, not just, the whole thing of do as I say, not as I do. Not that. You got to do it too. You got to exemplify that. And I think if you do that, they'll find their way back, right? They'll find their way back. They'll go through stuff, but they'll find their way back eventually. It may be just a minute and they'll come back, or maybe years, maybe decades, and they find their way back. But they'll find their way back. I do firmly believe that. I don't necessarily believe or fully accept the idea that they'll never depart from it. It's like, no, that's if you've had kids, that's not the nature of kids. You know what I mean? If you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, they test you. They pull away. They try other stuff. You tell them don't touch that, you'll burn yourself. They're gonna try to touch it. Really? I don't know. They're gonna try. So Miss Renita says she agrees. So I think maybe that's what the spirit of it was meant, but the way it's usually said to us, train a child up in the way that they're supposed to go, and they'll never depart from it. No, I think they kind of do, and because we all did, of course, yeah. Goodness knows, whew. Uh, there's some times I've done stuff that Proverbs 22:6. Oh, is that what it is? see, and I admit this, and I will probably go to my grave saying this. I am horrible at telling you a specific, like being able to tell you, oh, Proverbs 22:6. I wouldn't know that. I remember the spirit of the word and verses and all of that, but remembering, exactly what chapter and verse or what book it was in, I often don't. And that's just one of my failings. Um, Miss Patricia first wrote, they will come back, right? And then she wrote Google. Exactly. Yeah. So when I need, and believe me, I do. I also use my Bible app. What's it actually called? It's called something. I guess it's just called Holy Bible. I thought it was called something else. I thought there was a different name for it. But anyway, but I use that for like my daily readings and whatever. Because it's not a failing. Wow. Okay. I want everybody to mark down the date and time that my cousin Eric just said something nice to me. I'm just kidding. I love you, Eric. You know, just messing with you. Because usually we mess with each other like that. And so whenever he says something nice, I'm all like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh!" Eric said something nice to me. um, but it's because of the love we have for each other. Brun strong, baby. Yeah. Uh, so anyway, we're supposed to be talking about hope. So um, yeah, and I guess in a sense we are. But the idea is, he's like, whoa. Yeah, I'm gonna pay for that. Okay, so um, so hope and vision and all of that. So like I said, I wanted to share with you what my pastor said earlier. Um, that oh my goodness, I'm afraid to even put. I don't know what that means. I'm afraid to even bring that up. I don't even know what that is. So there was another time in 1978. Um, I'm not sure what happened in 1978, but I'm scared of whatever it was. Um, anyway, as far as hope goes, so the idea that it does require work, right? So whatever dreams and visions you may have for yourself, whether it could be something as far as like starting a new business or taking on a new venture of some sort, going back to school, getting more involved in your church. You know what? Oh, that I said something nice. Okay, I got you. Okay, I'm a little slow. You know, I'm from the South. Takes me a minute. There was another time in 1978 that he said something nice. That's very funny. Okay, so anyway, um, yeah, I guess the main thing that I got from the church service this morning again was the idea that you don't have to wait. And that's kind of how I ended last year with the show, talking about um, we always look at, you know, December 31st as the ending of a year and January 1st as a whole new beginning, when in fact, it's really only a second apart from each other. And we don't have to wait for that. So like if something happens now or in the next couple of months or whatever, and you're like, you know what, next year I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna do better, or I'm gonna do this. Why are you waiting till next year? First of all, it's not promised. And you're just setting an arbitrary date because we traditionally think of that as a new beginning. But every second that passes can be a new beginning. You know, when you wake up in the morning, that can be a new beginning. So you don't have to wait for it. And but I do think you have to have an understanding that many of the things that we want and that we aspire to and dream for um, do require work, do require time, and sometimes it will involve failure. And when I say failure, I don't mean abject absolute failure. What I mean is there are going to be those setbacks. There are going to be those things that knock you back a little bit, and then you have to push through it instead of letting that be a deterrent to get you to where you want. Use that as the impetus of moving forward. One of the examples I've given to friends is, or one of the stories I've told about things in my life was back in Southern California when I lived there. This was in 2008 that I did the first one, that I produced uh, a singing competition for youth, and had this idea for it to be like this really huge thing, and I wanted thousands of people to be involved, and I wanted to go over a long period of time, and I wanted celebrity judges and the whole thing, right? And so that was my vision for it. And so initially my thought was, well, I can't really do that on my own. I mean, and I had some friends who were working, alongside me, so I was never alone. And in fact, it was actually one of those friends that actually had the initial idea. Well, his idea was to do a battle of the bands. And then I said, no, 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 I don't want to do battle of the bands. I want to do a singing competition, a vocal competition, because at that time, American Idol was brand new. It was brand new and it was like the hottest thing. And so I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. That may have been like the second year of American Idol, probably, that I started my competition. And so I really, really wanted to do it, but I thought I needed major support. And so we went to one of the big radio stations out in Southern California. It was a country station, but huge, huge, reached all over Southern California and probably beyond. And so I went to them, and they loved the idea. They were like, we want to be the presenting sponsor. We're with you. Absolutely. And so every time we would have a meeting and we talk about this and that, and they tell me all the things that they were going to do and all these things they promised. And then as we got closer and closer to the date that we were going to need, because I was already starting to secure venues for the different phases of it, because we had to have, like a concert venue where we could do the big performance at the end. But I also needed another venue that was concert style for the semifinals. And then I needed to go around and conduct all of the auditions all over Southern California. And so we were getting close to the point where I was going to really need to start promoting this thing and really moving forward. And I'd already secured the venue. So those dates were locked in. So I'm getting close to that window of time where I need to launch this thing. It's just got to go. And finally went back to the radio station saying, okay, you guys, we got to get going. I mean, I love that we keep talking about it, but we got to get going. And so we're only a couple of weeks out, and they turned to me and said, okay, great. So we're ready to move forward too. Here's what you're going to have to pay us to do it. I went, whoa, we didn't say pay. You said you were going to be a sponsor. Well, yeah, that's how we handle our sponsorships, is you pay us so much, and then for a certain amount of advertising, and then we give you the rest of it in sponsorship. Well, they had never said that before. And I think that was intentional so that they could have me over a barrel, right? So that they could have me up against the wall and feeling like I had no choice but to go through with them and go through it with them rather than trying to start over. Well, it had the opposite effect on me. It actually made me angry, and it made me extremely defiant. And so as they're sitting there telling me what I can't do, I'm like, that's the wrong thing to say to me. Don't tell me what I can't do. And so I told them, I'm going to do it, and it's going to be huge, and it's going to be successful. And so they're like, oh, sure. In their mind, they're thinking I'm going to come back to them any day now. And I did not. So I was determined. I went, sat down with my friends, my partners, and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. And they're looking at me like, dude, like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, we're moving forward. And so at that point, that's when I made the call to say, we're going to hold these auditions at shopping centers, at malls, all around Southern California. We're going to pick about 4 or 5 different locations in different areas of Southern California, and we're going to go hold these competitions. And so that was, in that way, we got additional exposure, because if we got posters and flyers and stuff like that, if the malls were involved, they would hand those things out and they put the posters up and all of that. So we get exposure that way. And anyway, I'm not going to talk you through the whole the whole idea, but what I did was I used that as fuel, to light my fire of like, nope, I'm going to show you. And not only were we successful in pulling it off, but we ended up for our finals, we had these, in my mind, incredible celebrities. I was fortunate that one of the as judges. So one of the judges ended up being someone who was a dear friend, who just so happened to have the hottest show on TV at that time, which was Desperate Housewives. And that was my friend Mark Cherry. And, he was my former roommate. And, we performed together, in Young Americans for years, and we've been roommates a couple of different times. And so, I was able to give him a call, and he said, yeah, I'll come out and I'll judge it for you. So that was one of the coolest things, to have the creator and producer of one of the hottest shows on television as one of the judges. So boom, take that, radio station. Two, I had a contact with, I had a friend who was a recording artist and who sang backup with Gladys Knight, and also had sung with Michael Jackson, and it also sung with, oh my gosh, why can't I think of his name? Soon and very soon, we are going to see the king. What's his name? Starts with an A. Dang it. Somebody tell me. Miss Patricia, I know you know who I'm talking about. Songwriter, choir director, Andre Crouch. There we go. Got it. Andre Crouch. So he sang with his choir and all of that. So that's my friend Reggie. Got him to be on board. Got another friend who was an executive at Paramount. At the time, he was the show producer for the Arsenio Hall show. And Miss Patricia, I knew you'd come through, but it came to me at the last second. Andre Crouch. Okay. And so I had him on, and then I was able to get, and now I just forgot her name. Doggone it. She was a gymnast, and she was Olympic gold gymnast, and she played Peter Pan, still does on occasion, played Peter Pan on Broadway. Dang it. Lately I've been doing that, where I just forget names of people that I know well and should, oh my goodness. It'll come back to me. Anyway, so another celebrity, another name, and we're able to do it at this big, huge, beautiful venue, and it went off without a hitch, and the contestants were amazing. We had this group come on and perform to open the show, this a cappella vocal group out of LA that opened the show. We had the young youth group that I worked with at that time that performed while the judges deliberated, and it was a fantastic show. And not only did we pull it off for that year, but we continued to do it every year. In a couple of years, we did it twice a year. And 2015, I think, was the final time that we did that competition. But that just goes to show you that was an example of someone telling me no and being pretty sure that it couldn't happen. There's no way this guy's going to pull this off, especially in the time given. There's no way. I'm like, man, that's the last thing you want to tell me, is that I can't do something. It's like, stand back and watch. Miss Kim said, maybe you get older. That's not a maybe. That is for sure. That is for sure. I'm definitely getting older, and so sometimes I'm forgetting names. Oh, it's gonna come. It's gonna come to me though. I'm gonna remember. Oh my gosh, her husband just had a birthday. I think it was last month. Oh my goodness. It'll come back to me later. Anyway, not that important. So that's just an example of a hope and a dream and a wish, but it still involved work. So I worked my butt off. I ran all over Southern California. I did phone calls like crazy. I did my own artwork for the posters and stuff and everything, and the malls put them up and put out the flyers and stuff, and they contributed. Thought it was a great idea, but also know that along the way, I did get people saying no to me. So, for instance, as I approached each mall, each shopping center, there were certain ones that, and I learned this during the process, that there were certain malls that were all part of the same management chain. So you pick out certain ones, and you kind of, then I was able to look back and go, oh, I see. Yes, those are very similar. in the way they're managed and stuff. And some of them were managed in such a way that they wanted to charge me in order to hold those auditions there, which I get and I understand. But my point of view was, yes, but I am bringing hundreds of people to your mall, many of which would have no reason to come to your mall because they're coming from lots of different areas. And they're going to be there for hours. And so the odds are they're going to spend money at your mall. So why should I pay you to bring you more exposure and more money? Like to pay you for that? And so I'm like, no. I'll just go to the next mall because someone's going to understand that this is something that benefits them. And I found a bunch of them that did. But all the ones who said no, they were all part of the same management group. So they all had that same culture, that same mindset. It's like, nope, this is the way we do it. You pay us, and then we let you do things. Like, okay, well, have fun with that because I found other people that are willing to share my vision and move forward. Just like with Believe, I found people who were willing to share in that vision and move forward. And that's another example of something that was meant to happen once that is still going forward and growing. And all credit to him, but I just want to be an encouragement to all of you and to encourage you to be an encouragement to others. And more so than anything, I guess today what I wanted to say is keep your head up, keep your chin up. Know that it's even biblical. There will be trials. It straight up says it. There will be trials. There will be trouble. I think that's the actual word that's used, is trouble. There will be trouble in this world, but I have overcome the world. So basically, have faith, believe, and keep working. And one of the things that I've struggled with that, and I continue to struggle with it, but I'm getting better, is learning to ask for help. And yeah, that's one of, yeah, I have a hard time with that, of asking for help, and also for yeah, just asking for help. You know, saying, hey, I could use a hand here. Hey, you know, even sometimes if it's just, hey, just pray for me because I'm stressed out right now, or I'm despondent because of other factors or whatever. You know, it's like, you know, I appreciate that. Miss Vera, thanks for your encouragement. Absolutely, thank you for what you do. For those of you that don't know, catch Miss Vera Williams on Friday evenings. She does, I believe it's 8 p.m. Central Time. I'm pretty sure that's right. 8 p.m. Central. She does a live show, Facebook Live, that's geared towards health, giving health advice and encouragement and information. And that show has already blessed me. I don't think I've missed one yet. In any case, I've missed it just because I had no choice. You know, either I had a conflict or something else was coming on. But I always make a point of seeing that. And Ms. Vera, I'm going to repeat that I would like to get you on the show too. I think we should definitely do that. Ms. Renita says, you always encourage me to believe that. Oh, bless you. Thank you. And just all of you just being here, you know, and showing up. That's an encouragement to me. And once in a while, like I said, I'll get messages from folks and calls or I don't run into many people these days, but when I do sometimes run into people, they'll say to me, you know, hey, I watch your show, I look forward to your show. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a blessing. That's amazing to know that. My cousin Eric says, you're always encouraging, cuz. Oh, thanks, man. Was it Kathy? Kathy Rigby. Yes, yes, yes. I kept wanting to say Cindy. I'm like, Cindy's not right. She was a Brady on the Brady Bunch. No, yes, it was Kathy Rigby. That's who the judge was. And oh, and the very person that I was talking about who was also on that panel that very first year, my friend Reggie Burrell. So he's the recording artist that I was talking to earlier. I don't know if you just tuned in, Reggie, but if you did, I was just talking about you a few minutes ago. I didn't mention you by name, but I was talking about the first year of my vocal competition and how for the finals we had, our celebrity judges, and that you were one of them, and that you sang with Andre Crouch and Michael Jackson and Gladys Knight, and I know many, many, many others. um, but those are the ones I know off the top of my head that I know for sure. So Reggie it's one of the most unique and incredible voices. Um, if if there's ever an opportunity to hear him sing, take that opportunity, because it's beautiful. In fact, uh, it was primarily his voice, his singing, that made me want to join Young Americans. I mean, it was all of it, but he was definitely the one. He was in the show that came to Bogalusa at Bogalusa High School Auditorium, where I sat there and watched that show, and he sang "Bewitched," among other things. He sang a bunch of stuff, but it was that "I'm wild again, beguiled again." Oh, just so beautiful. I wish I had a recording of it. It's just bewitched, bothered, and bewildered. Beautiful, beautiful Richard Rodgers song. Um, and so, yeah, and so I am so fortunate that not only was he an inspiration, but we became friends, and we've been friends all these years. So I'm blessed to know you, and thank you for saying that. I didn't even read your thing. Your thing said, "Continue to be blessed as you bless others. Happy 2021." Same to you, my friend. Same to you. Uh, thank you so much. Um, so we are just about to wrap things up, but again, I had a bunch of other stuff that I was going to say, but I guess it went the way it was supposed to go this episode, and I appreciate you tuning in. And but again, the bottom line is I just want to be an encouragement to all of you to turn down the noise. Like I said, I posted this on Facebook, and it kind of went viral last year, saying that um, sometimes it seems like hatred and the negativity and all of that there's more of that in the world, but that's not true. It's just that they're louder. They're just a lot more louder and forceful. And so those of us who are in the majority of love and kindness and positivity and light, we just need to get louder. We need to use our megaphones and microphones and just blast and be louder and drown out that negative noise. And we need to come together and stop getting caught up in all of this separation and all of this, we're on this side and you're on that side, and all the the Civil War nonsense and all of that junk. It's time for us to come together and stop letting people divide us, because there are people out there who benefit from us being divided. And so they like to nitpick on these little things that are little hot buttons that make us go, "Oh yeah, I don't like when people do that." And so they get us on all those little hot button things that then turn us away from each other. And that is nonsense. Everything works better when we love each other and when we bring light and work for each other and all of that. And we talked about last week that Ghanaian phrase or proverb, if you will, that they have, um, saying it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village, period, for all of us, not just children, for all of us. And we all need encouragement. And so I encourage all of you to encourage others, those around you, and not let negativity take over and cause us to separate and cause us to be destructive and cause us to bring darkness when it should be about light. Okay? And this is the year to love as never before. I love that. Thank you, Miss Pat. Absolutely. And just remember that other phrase that I love from Jim Jeffries. He would always say at the end of his comedy show, he'd always say, "We can always do better. We can do better." So if we just keep telling ourselves that, look at the man in the mirror, and if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Be the change you want to see in the world. So thank you guys again for tuning in. If you're watching live or on replay, I appreciate you. I love you. I'm wishing and praying for nothing but the best for you and yours in 2021. But don't wait. Keep going. Keep going. Miss Karen, thank you for my chocolate and all my treats. You're the best. All my love to all of you in Germany and all of you around the country and around the world. I love you all, and just keep believing. Embrace the possible. Peace.